Starting this list off as the ballerina. I do still enjoy this movie, even if it is technically my least favorite of the John Wick films. I just think it was a good time at the theater. Incredible action sequences, like always. I think the final action piece with the flamethrower is literally some of the coolest action we've gotten in the John Wick franchise to date. I love the grounded brutality of the film. And like I said, Anna de Armas did a great job. I think Chad Stahelski coming in to help finish the film when the other director couldn't finish because of health reasons was a big push for it too. So it was already pretty solid. He came in and, finished it off and did a great job with it. All the rumors around, oh, the director had to fix it because the old director sucked. That's not what happened. But it is just a really good time. I feel like I had a great just experience. Like watching that in probably the biggest format possible made the final action piece and even other action pieces feel a lot better. And it just flowed really well. I thought it was a nice place to put it in between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4. So in John Wick 3, he does go to that area, and that's where they kind of started off at. And that's where they filmed her sequence where she meets him there, which I thought was really cool. So, all in all, I would say John Wick 3 has a nice, at least, connection to this one, but then also, it's still at least good as the John Wick films, but also good enough to be 10 on the list of my top 10 movies this year. Because if I really enjoyed it, then they should be here. And I enjoyed a lot of movies this year. So, yeah, number 10 goes to the ballerina. I have nothing else really to say here on this one. Yeah, number 9 is Warfare. I definitely really liked going into this movie because A24, like this, man, they just been on a freaking landslide of movies. It's hard to pick some. Some of them are just so good. But yeah, Warfare did everything I think it needed to do. There really wasn't much music to it. So that put us in like this raw, real, intense feeling of a movie. Where, not saying it like reinvented the wheel with war movies, but it's definitely one of the best ones to do it in the sense of like you kind of feel what's going on. And it takes a while before stuff to happen, but you can still feel the intensity of the battle, even before the guns even start firing. And I remember just sitting in the theater going, yo, when does something happen? Because it's coming. And it's just, you think something's about to happen, then it doesn't. And then as soon as that grenade just like flops into the window, you're like, oh shit. And then everything just kind of goes up from there. The violence is really good. I think the one scene that threw me off the most was when like an explosion just happens and you don't even know it's coming. And it all takes place for the most part in like this one little house, and they kind of transfer to another house. You find there's another team. The performances from Will Poulter and Charles Melton specifically were like incredible. Um, Other characters are just fun to watch. Some of those like really bloody injuries after the one explosion, I was like, oh, this is gross, but it's awesome. And they like morphine inject each other. Like it felt real. Like I felt like I was in there. Like, yo, how am I getting out of here? They shooting from all sides. And it just gave you this feeling like, man, I really don't know what war was like, especially when that was Iraq. That was like '06, '07 Iraq, man. That was like a rough time as when I was a kid. Just going through all the motions of like, man, I got somebody I think I know over there. I don't think they were in this specific situation because there's so many different stories you can tell from different wars because everybody had a perspective. But this movie just gave me this insight of like, man, you got to really appreciate the soldiers. And that's exactly how I felt at the end. And when you saw the real soldiers, they went to the set of the movie, I think, which was pretty cool. Like they really respected the people that they were playing. I think some of those soldiers did pass away in real life, unfortunately. But it was a good like experience that I think a lot of people should see. I would definitely hope that this movie is at least nominated for sound. I don't know if it's going to get nominated for Best Picture because it's got a lot of competition, but the sound quality is insane, like really insane. Like like seeing this in IMAX, yo, the theater was on 10 because there's like the sequence when the plane like flies over that you don't know is coming, and it's just like in your face, in your ears. You feel the vibrations. Is awesome. So like if they do get an Oscar, I hope it's for sound because I think this is probably the best sound production in a movie this year. I could be wrong because of sound production in a couple of these films going forward. It's really good. But yeah, I definitely say that Warfare earned a spot in this top 10 films. Well, we all knew this was coming. My favorite superhero movie of the year is officially James Gunn's Superman, and it's coming in at number 8. And I just think this movie did exactly what it needed to do. No, this movie was not a box office flop, despite what the jackasses on the other side might tell you. This movie did very well in the box office. Not as great as I would have liked, but it did good enough for me. And it also did good enough on HBO Max that it actually did such a thing as making other Superman content on HBO Max go up for the month of July. More people watched Superman animated series, My Adventures with Superman, probably Smallville, some other Superman stuff, Man of Steel, the Christopher Reeve document. Like this movie made Superman like Superman again. Like people were just like, "Yo, Superman stuff. There's more Superman stuff on HBO Max." This, that, and third. People buying Superman comics again. It was a good time for James Gunn's Superman, and it was a good time at the theater. I saw this movie in IMAX twice, and I just enjoyed David Corenswet Sweat the first time. I enjoyed him more the second time. Rachel Brosnahan was born to be Lois. She's perfect. She is so damn good, and I can't wait to see more of that going forward. Eddie Gathegi is Mr. Terrific. Pretty much stole the movie, and I'm okay with that. I thought Bull was good, man. He got his superhero redemption because they did him dirty in First Class because of dumbass writing. But First Class is still fire. But what I'm saying is like Nathan Fillion got to be a Green Lantern. I wanted him to be Hal a decade and a half ago, but like him being Guy makes sense going forward. Anthony as I think it's Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpho, solid. Metamorpho's usually not like that, but I kind of like the change. Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl is solid. I hope to see more of her. And Nicholas Holt as Lex is like he's just a perfect hater, and I love it so much. So this movie had a lot going for it, right? Like I love the way the movie looked. I love the special effects. I'm carrying myself. I love the on-set filming. The fact they built sets. The fact that there was like actual robotics involved with the robots in the fortress. They actually built a set for the fortress. They actually just put so much work into it. They actually just went into, I believe, Cleveland to film like the Daily Planet scenes and stuff like that. So they were just filming actually like all over the place, and it just made for such a great cinematic experience visually. Maybe some scenes were ugly, like when he was actually in the Pocket Universe, but the real world scenes are beautiful. The Superman shots, he gets to fly, he gets to be a hero, he gets to emote, he gets to enjoy being with children. There's just so many things that worked out for Superman, in my opinion. Now, do I say it throws a lot at you? Yes, but it is a fun time. It is just a fun movie. I went into that movie like, okay, we'll see what happens. Left the movie going. I like that a lot. Twice. So if that's the case, yeah, I understand why some people wouldn't like this film. I definitely understand. But I think James Gunn Superman did exactly what he needed to do for a starting universe, by the way, and therefore it earned a spot. One superhero movie this year had to be on the list. So, in Superman, it definitely earned a spot. Okay. Coming at number 7, Weapons. It had to be here, right? This movie was so fucking fire, bro. Like, I remember just seeing only a teaser trailer one time and kind of was like, okay, I'm kind of intrigued by this, but I didn't know if I was going to actually see it in theaters. And I was like, okay, some kids go missing, whatever's going on with these kids. But then my friend hits me up and he's like, yo, you want to go see Weapons? And I'm like, all right, let's go see the joint. We go in there. I didn't know what to expect. So I was kind of going into Weapons blind, but not like super blind. So when we in there, audience reactions make everything better. And going to a horror movie, you're going to get those, right? Any kind of horror, psychological thriller, you're going to get audience reactions. And I remember when the woman was coming out of the house and she just stops at the car while one of the characters is asleep. I'm not going to say who. and she walks behind the car and opens the back door, and everyone freaked out. And ever since then, you was getting audience reactions left and right in that movie theater. But oh my goodness, Julia Garner's such a good actress. She's really good. Josh Brolin's been great his whole career. We all know Josh Brolin's great. The guy who directed the film, I wish I could respect him by saying his name correctly, but I'm not going to try. The little kid actor, the kid, he was good. I liked him. I think he's pretty solid. And yeah, I know the surprise of a kid being a good actor should be out the door by now because we haven't really had the this kid's a bad actor era for like the late 2000s going. We haven't really had that problem. I feel like the 2000s was the decade where like we're going to get good kid actors, and it kind of stayed, thank God. Sometimes we'll get a little ass kid actor here and there, but for the most part, you know what I mean. And I just thought the like the jump scares were solid. I thought the elements were solid. I thought it was shot really well. I thought the gore, when the gore was done, was beautiful. I was like, sometimes they overdo it, but I thought here it was necessary, right? And that's crazy to say that, and it sounds a little sadistic, but the gore was necessary for what we get the whole movie, and it comes so much full circle in the final moments. It is so satisfying to watch those final 5 minutes of the movie go down because you're just like, oh my God, yes. Like the audience, we was just clapping and cheering when that happened because we was just satisfied. We was all like, whoo, this joint was lit. Even when the credits rolled, we clapped when the credits rolled. That's how you know you had a good cinematic experience. That's what the cinema's about, damn it. But all in all, Weapons, this is a great time. It was never not going to be here, by the way. It was never not going to be on the list. Like, Weapons was going to be on this list, point blank, period. I just had to figure out where to put it. And I think Seven's a good spot for it because I just like the movies ahead of it more. But yeah, Seven is Weapons. It deserves a spot on my list. Coming in at number six, you got Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Oh, I really like this movie. It lags at points, but it's also solid. It is Mary Shelley's like 1,000th adaptation of the book because the book is 200 plus years old at this point. Was it 1812 or something like that? So, yeah, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein has been adapted for over 200 years. I think this might be my favorite adaptation because he actually looks how he's supposed to. Let's just start by just saying the set's beautiful. So the ship is an actual set, and Frankenstein's lab is an actual set. That underground area, the over area, all this is an actual set. And I gotta say, it works. It just sets the tone. Guillermo del Toro demanded he had sets. He demanded it, and it just came to life. They actually had stuff to act off of. They acted off each other. They acted towards where they were. It was just so well done. The way Guillermo del Toro shot it was gorgeous. It was just like so nice to see. I want to shout out Jacob Elordi because bro was phenomenal. He was phenomenal as the monster. Now, the other side of me is like, I'm sad Andrew Garfield had to drop out because what would that have been like if Andrew Garfield was the monster? But on the other hand, Jacob Elordi 6'6", so like Frankenstein being a big old 6'6" giant, it just felt better. Andrew Garfield's only 5'10", but he's a great actor, so let that be what it is. And I found out Oscar Isaac was Guillermo del Toro's first and only choice to play Dr. Frankenstein. I'm like, yeah, he's perfect. Oscar Isaac is perfect. Hell, Mia Goth was great. The movie was just a good time. I'm so annoyed this movie didn't get released in theaters. So I had to watch it on Netflix. And I do really like the film. Sat in my room and watched it. Thought it was great. Thought the action pieces, when there was a bit of action, was kind of wild. Yo, this movie was violent. The violence was insane. I was like, oh, I love it though. Like every little like really nasty detail, I was kind of like, yes, more, because I'm insane like that. All in all, they just did a great job. It's 2.5 hours long. I will be honest with y'all. Sometimes you just can't sit through a 2.5 hour movie. It just ain't what it is sometimes. And it felt like it was 2.5 hours, especially towards that end. But I think it's a very good payoff. But I hate Netflix for not putting this in theaters for longer. It should have been in theaters for a month and a half at least, because I would have loved to see what it have done box office wise. But unfortunately, they didn't. But it definitely earned love from me, and that is exactly why this movie is number 6 on the list. Thank you, Guillermo del Toro. And starting off the top 5 of this incredible top 10 movies, we have The Long Walk, the most underviewed, underappreciated film of the year. I think The Long Walk is absolute cinema. I can't believe they took this book from 1989 and finally adapted it, because honestly, yeah, why did it take them so long to adapt this book? I don't know. It's one of Stephen King's books, and a lot of people love the book. And a lot of people said the movie is actually better than the book, and they think the ending is better in the movie than the book. And I said, well, that's crazy. And I think the sad part about The Long Walk is if you slap Stephen King's name on it, it doesn't mean people will see it. And that's unfortunate, because The Long Walk is actually a really great adaptation of Stephen King's book. And it's also just a really great film to experience in the theater. I saw A Long Walk in theaters. That's all a lot of these movies. I saw every movie here except for one in theaters. But The Long Walk is just a great time. I love the acting. I love the performing. I love the fact that they were keeping to the situation. Mark Hamill is incredible. David Johnson puts on a great performance. I wish I could remember a lot of these guys' names. They had the kid from Karate Kid Legends. He was really good too. Just some really great performances across the board. The intensity is there. The violence is there when it needs to be. The cinematography is good for this. The tone, the just overall brotherhood of the film shows that men, even when you don't know each other, you put us in the same room, we all like each other, we end up loving each other by the end of something like this. And oh God, it is just riveting to see just like men interacting with each other. And then when something happens to someone, they just keep walking, man. Just keep walking. This is like a movie that I think a lot of men should see, to let you know just like how real it is when you find that brotherhood. It's there, man. It feels good. And like watching just like the intensity every time you know something's about to happen to someone. Somebody gets sick, somebody's leg like snaps while they're walking, but they keep walking. Somebody like gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta throw up. I'm hungry. Like it is such a intense, like Stephen King. What's nobody like psychoanalyzed this dude and was like, "Yo, what's wrong with you, bro? This book is wild. It's good, but what's wrong with you?" Like it's just such a good time. And I'm not saying a good time and like I liked watching these people die. It was something that I didn't know I needed in a movie in 2025 till I watched it. And I was like, The Long Walk just has to be in the top 10. I When I realized it was like top 5, I was like, honestly, yeah, that's how I feel about the movie. It's just a great film. If you didn't see it, I feel bad, but if you can find it to watch it, please watch it. And with that being said, that's 5. So we're getting close to the end, y'all. Long Walk definitely deserves a spot here. Number 4 on this list is Companion. So I saw this movie in IMAX in January, way back in January. And it was one of my favorite movies throughout the entire year. It never left being one of my favorite movies. I actually saw it a second time when it dropped on HBO Max in the spring. And I loved it just as much the second time. And the thing about this movie is I love the artistic talent that they put into it. I love the creativity, the visual, the idea. It's just a little more well thought out than your average AI movie like this. And I still stand by what I said in my review of Companion earlier this year. It definitely seems to have brought some ideas from Chobits, which is a 2001 anime, pretty much about Persicoms. And it still like boggles me to this day that like something like Companion came out and I was like, did Chobits predict the future? But anyway, this movie did such a good job. The girl, Jack Quaid is he's so surprisingly good at being an asshole, and I have no idea how they decided he would be the best choice for this role, but he is. He is just so damn fantastic the whole time. Now, Sophie Thatcher is the star of the movie for me. Why she's the star of the movie for me? Because she did such a great job of kind of like transitioning back and forth between being the AI robot, but also kind of being human, and we're not supposed to know, even if the trailer reveals it, and it's kind of frustrating because it's such a great scene when she finds out she's a robot. Her acting is A1. And if we didn't know she was AI going in, you would probably feel a little bit more, even though her acting's A plus, so you still kind of feel. But the movie just goes downhill, 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 downhill every time they try something. The creativity of how they get the robots to love the person is also really well done. I think that it takes place in like a small area out in the wilderness somewhere also makes it better. Like the setting matters, the characters matter, the tone matters. And I think Companion keeps the tone of what we're getting the whole time. And the little details here and there that you don't pay attention to, but if you see it on the second watch, you'll be like, oh yeah, that was there, wasn't it? And it's kind of crazy. But I love this movie. I just thought it was such a well done thing. I remember the trailers. I was just like, I have to see this movie. I had to see what happens. The candle scene still lives in my head to this day. Like that's just so creative. That's such a crazy way to do something like that. And yeah, seeing it in IMAX helped. So yeah, definitely. I definitely see Companion. Definitely see Companion. If you haven't seen it, please see Companion and come back to my Companion review and put how y'all feel about it down below. But if y'all see this and y'all saw Companion, let me know how y'all feel down below. But you know, Companion definitely earned to be top four easily on my list, top 10 movies of the year. And then at number three is Zootopia 2. Damn, I love this movie. I love Zootopia 2 just as much as I do the first one. And that's hard to do because Zootopia 1 is just such a great movie that didn't need a sequel. But I'm kind of happy it did because this sequel expanded on the world of Zootopia. And that's something that could have been done a little more in the first one. But in this one, you get a nice little focus on like a small one side of Zootopia, but it expanded that side so you kind of get a reveal and a glimpse of what's going on underneath. And it's like Zootopia isn't what it seems. I kind of like that idea because Zootopia 1 came out, what, 9 years ago? It'll be 10 years ago this year, which, damn, really? It'll be 10 years ago coming up in 2026, and it matured with the audience. Like I said, I love sequels that do that. When the sequel matures with the audience, it gives it a little more freedom to write, a little more freedom to explore, and a little more freedom to kind of work its way into what it's trying to do. And it doesn't have to pull any punches. And I think Zootopia 2 does that very, very well. Is it funny? Yes. Is it animated beautifully? Yes. Is the story great? Yes. Are the characters still great and even better? Yes. I think Zootopia 2 might be one of the best sequels to happen within the last decade, but also one of Disney's best sequels. So you got Zootopia 2, Inside Out 2. They're like, in my opinion, like top tier, like Disney sequels. Because let's be honest, I grew up in the era where the Disney sequels that went straight to DVD were straight ass. So for me to see that Frozen 2 is good and I kind of enjoy it more than the first one, but is it a better movie than the first one? No. But then you have Inside Out 2 that I think is just as good as one, and that happened again with Zootopia 2. Moana 2 isn't better than the first one, but the first one's okay. So it's like, sure, but I do like that Moana 2 aged with the audience. Like it didn't stay completely childish the whole time. And Zootopia 2, and I think did that probably the best, right? And I love the new animal jokes, the new everything. It is a phenomenal sequel and a phenomenal film, and I'm glad it made $1 billion at the box office. And I'm also glad that it made the top five of this list at number three. Zootopia 2 absolutely deserves a spot. So surprising the hell out of me. Even when the movie first came out, number two on this spot is F1. Yo, this movie is just bomb as hell. Like it's just so damn good. Like I never thought a movie about Formula One racing would be one of the best movies of the year, but it absolutely is. And it, only Joseph Kaczynski could make this happen. This was the guy who did Top Gun Maverick, so I was like, well, I gotta see this, right? Because Top Gun Maverick was fire, so I gotta see this joint. Brad Pitt, Dempsey Idris. Didn't think I'd ever see those two together, but they're damn good together. They're really good together. And then Javier Bardem just playing the corporate guy who's trying to get the money from the team is also good. Watching how they try to construct the cars to get them to work, watching Brad Pitt being experienced racer named Sonny Hayes trying to teach Joshua Pierce how to really move a different way. He was he was genius, man. His character is written so well. Brad Pitt hasn't aged since he was like 45. Like real talk, man, but it's a good way. Like it's like, oh, they got this high technology stuff. He's just like, I'm going to take a run around the track, and by the end of the joint, everybody's running around the track. I love that. I love that we had the younger generation learn from the older generation the right way. And by the end, hell, Dancing Idris was taking a run around the track, and he had everybody running behind him. Like he learned how to lead. He learned how to be a better star, while also being a better leader from Sonny Hayes. And Sonny showed up, kind of redeemed his career, and he still have to go do something else because I guess that's how Sonny moved. But yeah, it doesn't need a sequel. I don't think it needs a sequel. I think F1 is just really good the way it is. And Joseph Krasinski did a perfect job of, how we're going to show the racing? Actually show the racing. Like, see it from the racer's perspective, actually have the cameras strapped to the car, however they did, have them doing the turns. You see everything flipping, all this other stuff. It's fire, man. Like, the way it's so riveting. Like, I was in the theaters, IMAX again, and I'm just like on the edge of my seat, like, yo, what's about to happen next? Because this joint's crazy. That is like cinema. Like, you just want to know what's happening next, and you just want to know what's going on. How is this going to play out? Dog, I can't even tell because the screen did three triple flips because of an accident. You just have to look at that and just appreciate the work that went into F1. I really hope that something like F1 comes around the corner again in next year in 2026. Probably won't, because it seems like Joe Krasinski just really likes to do movies like this, and he seems to be the only director who will. But we'll see. I'm going to give hope on that. But F1 is funny. It's riveting. It's emotional. It's great storytelling, great character writing, great cinematography, great sound production. It's just a freaking solid film all across the board. And I sadly don't think it'll get any Oscars. And if it does, I definitely think at least a Oscar for F1 is well deserved. That is a fact. F1 is incredible, definitely incredible, and I definitely recommend you guys see it if you haven't already. But F1 definitely deserved to be in the list. Taking the top spot of this list, it is Ryan Coogler's Jim Crow era vampire flick centers. I very much enjoyed this film, and I think people who've been watching my channel isn't surprised that this is the number one film of the year. Obviously, right? I mean, it is just so well put together, so well shot, so well crafted, written, acted. It is so beautiful, man. The set pieces, the designs, the clothings, the hairstyles, all the way down to the guitar. It is just a well put together movie. And the fact that Ryan Coogler did this on $90 million blows my mind. It's probably a little more expensive for something like this though. And it is the only movie in 2025 shot on IMAX film stock, which is amazing. And you can tell that the heart and soul of this movie is there. And I got to start by saying Michael B. Jordan puts on a really great performance. I didn't think he'd be able to top Killmonger or Just Mercy, and he does. Haley Steinfeld puts on a great performance. Delroy Lindo has been a generational treasure, and it was just so great to see him here. Wumi Musaka puts on a great performance. Miles Cotton, that voice, bro, that voice is is generational, is revolutionary. And then you got Jamie Lawson, who's just beautiful and well talented, and she has a beautiful voice as well. It just, the movie just comes together and just like artistic bliss, yo. Like that one shot alone should give Sinners the Oscars for cinematography. The cinematography in Sinners is top. It is so peak. And then you have even some really cool action moments. You get to see how good the twins are. They have great character backstory, writing, development. There's great character writing for everyone. Everyone has something to give to the story to some degree. The intensity, the slow burn from what we start with to where we get to. And it is a slow burn, but that doesn't mean the movie's slow, but the burn is like, you're like, yo, we already know where this is going. And when it does a great job of establishing everyone, so when everything goes down, you know it's going down. And it wasn't safe. It didn't pull any punches. This movie really did exactly what it needed to do. And there's no way in hell I want this to get a sequel. But it seemed like Warner Brothers was poised to try and do that. But Ryan Coogler put together something that I don't think anyone else but him could have done. Anyone else, this movie would have been distasteful, but he did it in the best, most strategic, calculated way that it just is. This movie is going to be revolutionary for a long time. It's going to be generational for a long time. Like, I think Sinners is the start of something really good with cinema. And Ryan Coogler's goal was to do that. And I think he did it in spades with this movie. So I am very pleased to say that this movie is the number one film for me from 2025. And I would love to see it win some Oscars because it absolutely deserves some. It does. So, Sinners, you earned the top spot. You really did. I'm happy you're my number one, and you deserve to be here. And that's just what it is. And I want to give out some little runner ups. And the three runner ups that I kind of have in the back burner just because it was really hard to not put them in the top 10, but they just barely made it was Thunderbolts, One Battle After Another, and Eternity. I did really like all three of those films, by the way, but it was so hard doing this top 10. But the 10 movies that I picked, I think, were worth it, right? And with that being said, 2025 is coming to a close. This was a great year for me to actually like consistently put out videos and stuff like that. And I'm really trying to grow my channel. I would like my channel to get big. I'm just very excited to see what I can do in 2026 with the channel. Hopefully, change some things up, change some formatting. Hopefully, be able to go back to doing the videos I was before. But if not, I'm gonna have to just keep doing this format till I figure out what works. Hoping that you guys, start to like my channel more, start to get my content out there, get the subscribes up, get the likes up, the comments. I love community engagement, and I just really think that we could do a lot better when it comes to these YouTube conversations. Because if it's one thing I learned this year that I've seen for the last couple of years is that you get so much more views if you spread hate. I'm trying to do that on this channel, but I will call out the BS if I see it, right? And I just think that we should just understand this whole cinema is dying thing. It probably is because it is a very dated format of entertainment. But there are people out there who still like going to the movies. And I think those people should find a way to invigorate the idea of like, hey, going to the movies is a good time still. You just got to be willing to take that chance. But unfortunately, movies are too expensive, and people don't want to spend all that money to go to the theater. So I dig it. I dig it. I dig it hard. But on the other hand, everything's more expensive now. Just is what it is. I miss the days where you could go to the movies and get some pretzel bites for like 4.50 and they be all big and the cheese be good. Now you be like, man, this is worse than it was 20 years ago. How y'all ain't stepped your game up yet? But I do understand in some degree, and I don't want the movies to fail because of that. I mean, let's be honest. Movies make a lot of their money more so on concessions than they do tickets. I mean, they make money on tickets, but the ticket sales more so go to the studio and like the same thing. But the concessions really make up a good amount of what's missing from that money going back to the studio. So yeah, movie food is expensive in a motherfucker. You can go out with somebody, take a girl out of something, you get nachos, she get pretzel bites. That's like $20. That's like damn near 20. Then you got to get the drinks separate. Then the drinks rack up another 15. So that's what, 30? You getting killed out here. So, but I do think 2026 we could like definitely grow our stuff better in a way that could make talking about movies fun again. I feel like people have been on here really trying to find every way they can to tear movies apart for no damn reason other than I want some views. But in reality, I do think that we could do a better job with this going forward. And I want to thank to the people who have engaged on my channel recently. I'm very happy that I'm getting some engagement. I hope you guys stick around and want to engage more. And thank you to the people who just genuinely watch my videos because they think my opinion matters. I'm so happy about this. Thank you guys. I'm getting what I've wanted, and I want some more positive and some more like actual opinions on films going forward. And please, guys, like and comment, subscribe, share the videos if you can, share my shorts if you want to, do what you want to do. I am all free game to gain more traction. I would like to be more popular on YouTube. And with that being said, enjoy the last few days of 2025. A new year's here. Set a resolution. I set some for myself. Enjoy 2025 for what's left, and let's have a great 2026. With that being said, I'm signing off. I'll see you guys on the next one.